Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, Hector Longo, and you back on here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. All right, guys. So first game we're talking about this week, Methuen-Lowell. Now, I mean, I remember the back-to-back games at the end of the season a couple of years ago, Bill. So Lowell coming into Methuen is always going to play it tough, and this was no different.
No, Tim, it wasn't at all. Every facet of the game, there was suspense in the kicking game. Defensively, both teams really stepped up, and then each side had a nice offensive run. And Coleman and Bryant and Bergeron stepped up. Najai Neal and Brendan Ty and a couple other kids for Lowell, had their brief moments of just strong offensive play, but it was definitely a defensive battle all game.
Anthony Romano, an amazing fourth down catch to keep the winning drive alive. Also had a fumble recovery touchdown. Ben Cadet, you mentioned him earlier, Bill, TD saving tackle. I mean, that's got to be an early candidate for MVC Hustle Play of the Year. I mean tell us about that play alone, where he saves the touchdown, strips the football, and that ends up to being a Rangers touchback.
So as a former high level Pop Warner coach, Tim, in football, he wasn't even really part of the play. As a defensive coach, to see the angle he took, he wasn't trying to tackle him at the point of initial impact. He was racing down the field to beat him before he scored, dove out, whacked the ball out of his hand, and then it was 4 or 5 guys trying to jump on it, and it finally went out of the back of the end zone, which led to a touchback. I don't think people realized. I think they all thought it was a TD for Lowell, even the announcer. It got real confusing, but Ben definitely saved that game with that play.
So punching up the Romano fumble recovery here for the touchdown. So there's one play on Romano, big play there. Now we're looking at the fourth down catch. Bill, tell us about how that fourth down came about here.
No, the linebackers and the Ds for Lowell, it was really coming up strong and stopping the run. The outside was where Methuen started to get their drive going, and the defense came up well. Methuen was hampered kind of all day with little 5-yard penalties here. A 4th and long came up. Coaches called the right play. Romano got himself open. There was a little thing in there about a bad pass. I'm going to disagree with that. You can see by the video.
I'm watching it. It was saying in the Eagle Tribune that it was kind of thrown behind it. That was a pretty good pass.
You got to show up to the game to make a comment about whether the pass was bad or not. Now, there was about 10 passes during the game that were well overthrown. That I'm not taking away. He had a rough day throwing the ball. On this play, he put it up over the DB. Romano jumped up, grabbed it, first down, and Methuen's life as far as that team came back and obviously marched down the field and did their thing. Coleman again, though, just that kid is all over the field.
Now,
I know.
Before we let you go on this play, Hector, how do you rate that in terms of protective dad versus honest analysis?
I've learned to know over the years that the newspaper guy is always right in this situation.
Yeah.
The parent is always wrong. The newspaper guy is always right, Bill. So
watch the
but
play.
I have to ask. Okay, we're only 3 weeks in, Bill. 3 wins. But one of them is over Tewksbury, and another one yesterday. Do you start to feel that this is the year kind of thing with Methuen, the momentum gathering? You're close enough to know. Is it the something special in there? Is that are we looking at that?
I don't know. That's a tough question to ask. I mean, Andover is going to be no joke, and we heard Central. I mean, to lose Mercurio and Hebert and Tim, I appreciate what you said earlier about next guy up. They have that depth. Methuen's got a couple of kids injured, and that does take a team, like a Methuen that doesn't have that strong depth. But it has been fun. 3-0 is much better than 1-2 or 2-1. But they've got a good core group of kids that have been playing together for a lot of years, and Haverhill's going to be, they're struggling, but they're going to be no joke. But the Andover Central games, I think, Hector, at that point, depending on how those games are decided, I think then you could start to say, okay, wow, they are putting something together that's special.
All right, so we got the game-winning touchdown run here, Bill. Tell us just about, touchdowns weren't coming easy for the Rangers against this team. Tell us how that play shaped up.
A couple of things. Obviously, you need to make the right play call. But if you notice, the blocking on the wide receivers to make that alleyway is huge. And that's one of the things, Hector, you're talking about. Do the little things. There's kids blocking downfield to Methuen. I think in the past they were giving up on plays and not having the ability to that next level higher thinking. And you're going to see in this play that a couple of kids made some great blocks. And then, the quarterback almost got tackled and kept his feet and kept going, which is huge. But I think the thing that's impressing me is all these kids, the way they're blocking. That whole line is brand new. And that's why I have a hard time saying, state playoffs and things like that when you have 5 guys on the line that are brand new. But their on-the-job training has been huge. All
right, we got Leslie Theodore, post-game interview, big O lineman for the Rangers here.
All right, we're here with Leslie Theodore. Leslie, talk to us about that win.
It was crazy. We're down at the Ave. Our defense kept pushing. Anthony Romano, Junior Gellin, Michael Palmer. We kept pushing. We know at some point in the game, we would get our flow back, just like last year. We had plenty of tremendous fourth-quarter comebacks, and we proved that today.
Nice. Obviously, offensive line, right? Lowell's big. They're strong. They're fast. Talk to us about how nice of a job the offensive line did today.
Well, I just want to give credit to Lowell. They played a great game. They played hard. And it took us till halftime to talk some things out. And we came out here, Junior Gellin, Sam Cleavis, Jordan Duran, Chris Lorenza. No more penalties. We came out and we did our thing. Marched down the field twice to seal the game. Proud of themselves.
Awesome. What's next for you guys? Next week?
Next week
at Haverhill.
At Haverhill.
Right. So what's Coach Ryan's? What's he gonna be preaching this week?
He's gonna preach the same thing he preached last week. Dangers of complacency, being comfortable where you are. We're not comfortable. Obviously, we could have put numbers on the board, but we didn't. We have a lot of things to fix up and come out here and put on a show.
Awesome. Great job. All right, we're here with Coach Tom Ryan. Tom, last night you said this would be just a battle of 2 tough MVC teams. You want to talk about what the difference was for us today?
In the fourth quarter, we finally took control of the line of scrimmage. That was in doubt most of the game, but we did what we had to do, and now ultimately at the very end of the game, we could grind. But hats off to Lowell. What a well-coached game. We know we came out of there fortunate with the win, very fortunate. So hats off to Lowell.
Talk about some of the guys that stood out for you today in this come-from-behind win.
Obviously, Anthony Romano continues to do some great things, but he'll tell you he made some mistakes. And honestly, that the story has to be the line at our offensive line at the end in the fourth quarter. Our last 2 drives made a statement that they were not going to let us lose, and that's ultimately won us the game. Connor didn't have his best game, but he came up big at the end when we needed him. So that's really the story of the game, and we're going to have to fix a lot of things. There's a lot of film to watch and see where we can get better, and I know we get Haverhill next, and they've been a big challenge for us in the last 5, 6, 7 years. We've taken some beatings from them, so we need to, in the last 2 years we've had some epic games against them, so we need to buckle up and regroup and play better.
Nice. Tom, it seems like we have a lot of these close games the last few years. What's the difference with this team? What have you done to really just? It seems like every close game, we seem to get, finish on top. What do you preach to these guys? What is it that kind of you feel gets us over the hump?
I don't know. We say a lot of things. We have a theme of the week, and but a lot of our themes we talk about definitely like win the next thing you can win, and you see it with our guys. It's a bad play happens. Well, the next play's an opportunity to succeed, and they don't try to hang their heads, and that's a big mantra we have. We have there's a missed tackle by a defensive back. He gets up, runs down the sideline, punches the ball out, and becomes a touchback. So instead of a horrifically loss for us turned into an unbelievable positive, and our offense gets the ball, and that was Ben Cadet. So that was an impressive play that happened 2 years ago to a very similar. Wes Carrera did it 2 years ago, very similar, makes a mistake but doesn't give up, punches the ball out, and good things happen. So hats off to Benny and the rest of our guys for not quitting, and we came out on top.
Awesome. Great job.
It's an interesting comment from Ryan there. I remember that West Korea play, Bill.
Yep.
Just all-out effort. Gutty. All right, so that. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, exactly. So, I mean, if she, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we can we can agree to disagree on that. I don't agree with that. As you said, I think in terms of